you legally turn to a sibling for support, and how is this possible, you may ask? How do you go about this when it comes to claiming maintenance from your sibling? Let's speak to legal expert Nonhlanhla Mtshali. Good evening to you, and thank you so much for your time. So, we've seen reports around this issue suggesting that you can be able to claim maintenance from your sibling, but some are wondering if this is true, and if so, how do you go about it, and in what circumstances can you do this?
All right. So firstly, it is actually true you can claim maintenance. The provisions, or it is accommodated in accordance with the Maintenance Act. It's important for people, I think, or the viewers to understand that it's actually not something new. It's been something that's been around for a very long time because the Maintenance Act has made provision for it. And in the main, of course, if you are the sibling who wants to claim maintenance against another sibling, one, you must be able to prove that you are actually in need of financial support. Number two, the sibling whom you are claiming maintenance from must also actually qualify or be able to assist you financially. And of course, it's not automatic. There is a court process that is done. You would need to approach a relevant court with documents that prove or substantiate that you are in need of financial assistance. And there is also what is called a means test. In other words, it's a test that is done that actually verifies that you do need financial assistance, and that the application that you are bringing to the sibling whom you would like to claim maintenance from, that they can actually support you financially.
And there is, I wish you could see the rumblings in studio as you and I are talking, because some of my colleagues are simply not having this. And I suppose that's the big question, right? To say, how then do you determine who has the financial means or well off enough to be able to support? What test then does the court put in this regard?
Okay, so firstly, I think it's important that it's a case-by-case basis. The court will never have a blanket approach for all siblings or in general for all maintenance claim. But when you are regarded as the well-off sibling, you would actually be brought to court. You would have to produce some documents to the court on your earning or how much revenue you have on a month-to-month basis. Obviously, there would need to be things like proof of the blood relationship or relationship that exists amongst you as siblings. There'd also need to be proof that there is financial dependency from your sibling. So an example of that would be somebody who's unemployed, somebody who's also a student, but they are in financial need as well.
So then, if for example, let's say I am bringing all the proof of payment, salary advice and all of that, but I still maintain that I'm actually going through financial hardships, can this be taken into consideration? Or if the court finds that I do have, I make a bit more money, can they then issue an order in that regard?
So I think what people need to understand is that it doesn't just start and end at the fact that your sibling makes more money than you do. It's a holistic approach of where you are as a sibling who claims to be in financial need and where the sibling is who has a financially better off position. So they'd obviously also look into their life, the dependencies that they have. Are they married? Do they have children? Do they have any family contribution? And like I said, I think it's prudent to understand that it is going to be done on a case-to-case basis. You'd have to actually prove to a court that there is a level of financial dependency, and you'd have to actually prove to a court and produce certain documents. So an example would be your bank statement. So you can't just claim you need financial assistance from your siblings. You'd actually need to produce documents to a court that actually shows that I have no source of income or I'm dependent on a social grant, etc. And of course, the merits of the financially well-off sibling or siblings would be looked into, like what is their earning potential, what are their sense of responsibilities, do they have children, do they have parents, what are they earning on a monthly basis. So it is a process. It's not something that is automatic. It is obviously accommodated for legally in terms of the Maintenance Act, and it is something that is done on a case-to-case basis. So not everyone will automatically apply. I think it's also prudent to highlight that it is actually possible for a court to decline your maintenance application.
And how then do both parties, let's say the application is approved, right? How does then the court determine what reasonable amount one needs to pay here?
Okay, so in general, maintenance is done in accordance to your month-to-month needs, right? So the court is not going to make provisional room for maintenance for a lavish lifestyle, it's going to be something that is regarded as your essential. So something like toiletries, something like food. So the process is specifically when you're looking into the context of siblings, the likelihood is that you're going to get a portion of maintenance that will meet your basic requirements. Something like a car wouldn't be, in my view, something that you're entitled to in terms of maintenance, like a luxury lifestyle, something like traveling, eating out, etc. It's more likely to be, or at least the court trying to ensure your basic needs are met. And a basic need would be something like your toiletries, having possibly somewhere to stay, and of course things like food. So it's really just the basics that you are likely to get when it comes to claiming from your sibling, or when it comes to claiming maintenance from your sibling.
All right, quite interesting to hear this, and like I say, I think you may need to visit us in studio to kind of allay some concerns here, because we do have a lot of of our colleagues who simply just aren't really convinced by all of this. But thank you, Nonhlanhla. Appreciate your time. Thank you for speaking to us. Legal expert there, Nonhlanhla Mtshali, speaking to us about the circumstances, right, under which a sibling can be able to claim from their sibling in maintenance. But as you heard, it's not a blanket approach. Case by case basis, it may be approved at some point. It may even be declined.